They didn't just overlook her, they erased her. She stepped into the room like she didn't belong because everyone made sure she knew it. The tech crowd was sharp, tailored, hungry. Eleanor wore worn-out sneakers and a faded gray hoodie, her tablet tucked under one arm like a leftover lunch tray. A branding consultant whispered, "Is she maintenance?" A VC intern laughed. "Maybe she's pitching an app for thrift stores." Nobody asked her name. Nobody noticed the badge clipped to her collar. It wasn't gold, it wasn't glowing, it was just there. She stood quietly near the water table, sipping from a paper cup while billion-dollar egos preened on stage. Cameras turned to influencers. Investors turned to familiar faces. Not her. They didn't just ignore her, they reduced her to silence. But in precisely 46 minutes, that silence would split the room in two. And the girl in sneakers? She wouldn't just belong, she'd own it. She didn't flinch, but she didn't forget. The room pulsed with curated chaos. Champagne flutes clinking, startup slides glitching, egos orbiting like satellites. The Future Tech Pitch Night at Manhattan's Arclight Pavilion was where fortunes began, or imploded. Eleanor stood by the edge of the networking circle, her tablet in hand. She wasn't tweeting, she wasn't schmoozing, she was just there. And that made her a target. A group of founders huddled near the bar, eyed her like she was an unclaimed coat. "Is that a rental hoodie?" one snorted, tipping his drink toward a grinning influencer. "Or maybe she wandered in from a WeWork down the street," the influencer replied, already filming. Her phone caught Elena's shoes. Mud-scuffed Converse, laces frayed. "New pitch idea," she said into the mic. "App that finds you real shoes before your big night." Laughter rippled. Not the warm kind, the sharp kind that slices skin just deep enough. Elena glanced up, briefly, then returned her gaze to the stage. On another side of the room, a TikTok tech reviewer was live streaming. His username blinked in neon green on a rigged-up mic, @ByteKing. He zoomed in on Elena. "Yo, stream, spot the glitch. We got someone here who thought this was a free coding bootcamp. No offense, but homegirls rocking open source fashion." His comments exploded with laughing emojis. "Dev Goblin. Pitching in pajamas. Maybe she's beta testing poverty." He spun the camera to himself, smirking. "Bet you 5 Dogecoin she's here to pitch. Compassion as a service." More chuckles. Elena's image was being memed in real time, and she knew it. You could feel it in the heat behind her ears. But her fingers gripped the edge of her tablet. Light, controlled, like holding back a tide. Our hedge fund angel, young, cocky, freshly liquefied from a crypto exit, walked past and slowed near her. "You know," he said, eyeing her tablet, "this room eats nervous energy. You're radiating lunch money startup vibes." Elena blinked once, slow. He smiled. "Don't worry. They say failure builds character. So hey, cheers to your origin story." He clinked his champagne glass against her paper cup like it was a joke they both understood. But she didn't laugh. Meanwhile, across the floor, a female tech influencer in a designer blazer leaned toward a cameraman. "You getting this? That girl with the free Google Slides energy?" "Already did a Zoom," he said. "I titled it Before the Pitch Went Wrong." Then came the moment they all thought they'd won. The MC, a former Silicon Valley podcast star turned VC rep, took the stage. All right, he said, drawing the lights in. "We've seen AI that makes music. We've seen drones that fix pipelines, but I think our next presenter brought a Tumblr account." The crowd chuckled. "Please welcome, he squinted at the name exaggeratedly. "Elena Morgan." Silence followed. Heads turned. "Oh, it's her," someone whispered. Elena walked to the foot of the stairs. One stilettoed foot purposely blocked her way. "You're seriously going up there in that?" a startup founder hissed. Eleanor stepped around her. The tablet stayed in her hands, gripped not like a shield, but like a tool. As she climbed the steps, the laughter returned, quieter this time, nervous, like they could feel something shifting. But it was too late. They had already laughed too hard, too loud, too public, and she had already remembered every face that did. She didn't flinch, but she didn't forget. And then everything flipped. The tablet in Elena's hands didn't glow. It wasn't plated in chrome, no logo, no theatrics, just a black screen and her name, Elena Morgan. The MC stuttered. So looks like our final pitch is a passion project called Quiet Mind. Is that right? Elena nodded once. She didn't walk. She glided. Each step up the stage was soundless, except for the whispering tidal wave crashing behind her. People craned their necks. Some pulled out their phones. Bite King whispered to his stream, "Okay, this is going to be tragic." Elena reached the mic. She looked out, not at the cameras, not at the stage lights, but directly at the people who'd snickered, snapped, and stared through her. "I wasn't supposed to speak tonight," she began. The room stilled. Her voice was low but sharp, clean, like the first strike of a scalpel. "But I've watched enough." Behind her, the screen flickered, then lit up. Quantum Works presents Quiet Mind. Confused murmurs filled the air. Quantum Works? The elite VC fund no one ever touched unless they were already minted. "That's Nathan Morgan's fund," someone whispered. Elena turned to the screen. Tonight's event was sponsored by Quantum Works, and as of last month, Quantum Works is mine. You could feel the oxygen drain from the room. My father passed 2 weeks ago, silently, as he lived, and when he did, he left me something most people don't inherit. She looked toward Bite King. "A billion-dollar empire?" She smiled, just faintly. "No, he left me a mirror and told me to watch." The screen behind her flashed again. Clips, replays, posts. All of them from tonight. Laughter, mockery. Bite King's live stream, the TikTok videos, the stilettoed founder's eye roll, the designer Blazer's sneer. Quotes and usernames burned across the screen like a courtroom's opening statement. Gasps filled the room. Someone's chair scraped against the floor. An influencer reached for her phone to delete a post. Too late. "You didn't see me," Elena said softly, "but I saw you." The hush was heavy now. She stepped forward. 7 years ago, I asked my father why his investments never reached the right people. He said, "Because the rooms are filled with noise." So I asked for permission to go quiet. Her voice never rose, yet somehow it echoed. I worked in shelters, built test apps from public Wi-Fi, mentored teens who coded on borrowed Chromebooks. I learned what genius looks like without gloss. The tablet she held now glowed to life. Quiet Mind, a platform for AI-enhanced learning. Offline compatible, voice-guided, created for kids who sleep in buses, who code in libraries, who learn in chaos. We're launching across 200 cities next quarter. Quantum Works has committed $70 million, not because of your pitches, but in spite of them. Now her gaze turned, surgical and deliberate, toward each of her public critics. "To the influencer who called me a glitch, your PR firm just lost its $8 million retainer. Consider that debugged. To the hedge fund angel who mocked nervous energy, your portfolio company was scheduled to receive bridge funding tomorrow. It won't. To Bite King, your invite list, permanent ban. From everything funded by Quantum Works or anyone we touch, stream that." Silence. One woman sobbed. A startup rep coughed into her sleeve. Elena let the weight sink. She didn't gloat, didn't raise her voice, just one last truth. You mistook volume for vision, wealth for worth, polished for powerful. She let the silence stretch until it cracked. Quiet doesn't mean weak, it means waiting. The screen behind her went dark again. No tagline, no applause sign, just Elena, holding the tablet like a verdict. And then she said, "You have 3 minutes to delete what you regret. After that, the internet remembers more than I will." She walked off stage before the MC could speak. The room didn't breathe. They didn't just lose face. They lost access. It wasn't revenge, it was recalibration. By the time Elena stepped off the stage, her name had already updated in every server inside Quantum Works' encrypted infrastructure. A silent system flipped switches in real time. Funding lines paused. Scheduled wire transfers froze. Calendar invites vanished. Partnerships, pending since last quarter, were voided. Digitally vaporized. Bite King ended his stream early. His chat had turned against him. Yo bro, you're done. Delete and run. She owns the money, idiot. He opened his email. A single message blinked in. Subject, termination of access credentials. Body, your media rights with Quantum Works are revoked, effective immediately. Attached, a screenshot of his mocking livestream. A digital mirror of arrogance. Elsewhere, the influencer in the designer blazer, Sienna, refreshed her Instagram 5 times in a row. The hashtag future tech pitch tag was now flooded, with her face, her sneer, her whisper, Google Slides energy. Meme pages had already picked it up. Caption, when you laugh at the wrong girl. View count 4.3 million and climbing. A message popped up from her sponsor. We're reevaluating your contract. Your brand no longer aligns with our values. She blinked. I didn't mean it. It was a joke. The algorithm didn't care. At a rooftop bar 2 blocks away, the hedge fund angel checked his phone mid-laugh, expecting confirmation for his next Series A investment. Instead, he saw this. Subject, Quantum Works. Withdrawal body. In light of tonight's behavior, your deal pipeline with QW and its partners has been shut down. A second message hit his inbox before he could process the first. Avery Capital has redirected your shared co-investment. Assets moved. He read it again. Redirected, as if his empire was a misplaced file. His glass slipped, no one picked it up. In a co-working space across town, an intern screamed. She'd just been offered a marketing job from the Quiet Mind project. The offer was real, full-time, full benefits. The only condition? Be who they didn't see. Her resume had been overlooked 5 times by the same people now on Firewatch. Tonight, that changed. Back at the Arclight Pavilion, the MC stepped off stage with shaking hands. He checked his phone. A single call from Monica Tran, Quantum Works board chair. He didn't answer. He already knew. His podcast episode scheduled for Friday, a glowing expose on who belongs in the room, was pulled. The sponsors, gone. The irony wasn't lost on him. Meanwhile, Eleanor, she didn't gloat. She didn't take interviews. She didn't post. She sat quietly in the green room, a stainless steel water bottle on the table, her tablet beside her. Quiet Mind's homepage already had 40,000 hits in 20 minutes. Her team wasn't scrambling. They were ready. Not for press, but for deployment. Her assistant entered quietly. The media's waiting, and Sienna wants to apologize on camera. Elena shook her head. This isn't punishment, she said. It's pruning. Across the city, doors that once opened with a nod now demanded credentials no one could fake. Tech events went dark for names once bathed in retweets. A single photo of Elena, standing alone with her tablet in hand, head turned slightly, began trending. The caption read, "The girl you ignored runs the game now." An investor called his partner in LA. "We need to get back in," he hissed. "She's killing portfolios with silence." But the silence wasn't killing. It was clearing space. The press wanted a quote, a headline, a soundbite. They got a 6-word statement emailed from the Quiet Mind team. Louder isn't better, smarter is quieter. By dawn, Byte King's brand had crumbled. His YouTube lost 20K subscribers in hours. His sponsors dropped him. One clip of his live stream, where he zoomed on Elena's shoes, was now being used in digital literacy campaigns under the title, "What Failure Really Sounds Like." Sienna attempted a Notes app apology. It bombed, not because it was late, but because it was self-pitying. Her post had one comment pinned by Quantum Works. "This is not accountability, it's damage control." Elena's team blacklisted 6 firms, 4 influencers, 2 podcast hosts. Not because of clout, but because they'd made the wrong bet on noise. Meanwhile, on a quiet block in Brooklyn, a boy logged into Quiet Mind for the first time. He tapped through voice-guided lessons, slowly sounding out vowels in a language no one had taught him in person. He didn't know who Elena Morgan was, but she had built something for him, something no pitch had even mentioned. It wasn't revenge, it was recalibration. A new algorithm was running, not in code. In consequence, the girl in sneakers rewrote the game. By sunrise, the hashtags had burned themselves out. The memes slowed, the chaos faded. But something else stayed. Elena didn't tweet, didn't post a selfie, didn't grant a single headline. She simply disappeared. A reporter from TechCrunch stood outside the Quantum Works office, hoping to catch her. He didn't. Instead, he spotted a young man loading cardboard boxes into a van marked Quiet Mind Distribution Unit Number 3. No logos, no slogans. Just a sentence printed on the side. Teach those the world forgets. Elena sat alone in a sunlit room in Queens, watching test footage of a child using the app in a shelter. He had mismatched socks and a gap-toothed smile. He said the word library like it was magic, not because it was big, because it existed. No stage, no red carpet, no gala, just purpose. Her assistant entered quietly. "They want your comment," she said. Elena shook her head. They already saw it. "They want to know if it was revenge." "It was design," she answered, then paused. "And mercy." Somewhere, a former influencer scrolled through her own feed, now flooded with before and after takes of her reputation. She deleted the app, but it didn't delete the lesson. Byte King started a new channel. No ads, no jokes, just interviews from the silence. His first guest? A librarian from the Bronx. At startup mixers across the city, people whispered about Elena Morgan like a ghost story. She was there the whole time. She watched everything. She didn't say a word until she did. And by then, the room belonged to her. In a closed Slack thread, a VC intern asked, "What's the new rule now?" Someone replied, "Don't just pitch louder, pitch truer." Elena took a sip of tea. Her inbox blinked. New volunteers, 240 district partnerships, 17 media inquiries, ignored. She opened a doc, typed one line, "Quiet power isn't a tactic, it's a test." And then she closed the screen, grabbed her bag, and headed to a school nobody had funded. Until now. So maybe now the real question isn't who holds power, but who deserves it? Because in a world screaming for attention, sometimes the strongest voice is the one that doesn't need to shout. If this story found you, maybe it was time. Share it, reflect on it, and stay for more. We don't just tell stories, we rewrite the noise.